is it me? Or does it seem like all these businesses just be acting a fool? Like, I just feel like, where the hell is customer service at? Like my car situation. So my engine went out on my car. Took my car to the dealership. They're the only one who touched my car. They did an oil change and wait, let me back up. So about 6 to 8 months ago, my car was leaking, just drops of oil. I took it to the dealership. The next day, I come outside and the car's pouring oil underneath the car. I'm like, what the hell? How is it worse? So I call them and, they take the car back or whatever. And I call corporate first because they be playing too much with women. So I call corporate first just to have a, kind of like a paper trail or whatever. And they was talking about fixing the car, but not giving me a rental car. So I called corporate because I'm like, you already have my car and it's leaking. Like, you should give me a rental. So corporate got involved. I ended up getting a rental. They supposedly fixed the leak and gave me back my car. I want to say a month and a half, 3 months later, my oil light came on. And I called them and I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring my car in and I got a coupon because I love me a good coupon. You got to ball on the budget. And, so I took my car in. I had a coupon for oil change in the 21-point inspection. I believe that's what it's called. And I told them, I said, my light came on. You guys know you just fixed my oil leak or whatever. And they're like, okay. They give me a oil change. They tell me they don't see anything. Everything looks good. I'm like, okay. I get my car back. Now, at this time, I'm doing per diem social work at the psych ward. And I'm retired, but I was bored, so I decided I'm going to start doing that. And it's in another city, like 40 minutes away. So I drive my car home, and it starts smoking. I'm like, why is my car smoking? Like, no. So when I get home or whatever, I call them, and they're like, oh, no, it's just probably a little burn off or whatever, which I've heard of that before. I've never seen that happen with a car that you take to the dealership, but okay. So the next morning I get up, I go to work, and I'm driving on the freeway. My car is smoking crazy. So by the time I'm pulling up at the hospital, my car's smoking so much, people are like looking at me like I'm crazy. And like, are you good? Are you going to blow up? I'm like, what the hell? It's way more smoke than like a couple of drips of oil could have. Like, I know a little bit about cars, My husband used to repair cars and fix cars and remodel cars and all that. Like, so I call them, I tell them my car is smoking. They're like, oh no, whatever, it's no big deal or whatever. Just thinking like, oh, she a woman, she don't know what she's talking about. I'm like, no, my car's really smoking. They're like, well, can you bring it back right now? I'm like, no, I just put up at work and no, I'm here. I'm also get my money and then I got to drive home anyway. I'm going to drive home. So long story short, I get off, I go home. When I get home or whatever, I tell my boyfriend, I'm like, can you look under the hood? Because it's smoking like now crazy. It's no way. It's no burn off. Like, it's getting worse. So I go in because, I'm coming from work. Whatever, I go and use the restroom. As I'm coming out, he's like, babe, look. So I turn my camera on. I'm like, let me start filming because I already know it's about to be some bullshit just by the way he said it. So I'm walking outside and I walk up on my car. The oil cap is sitting right on top of the engine. Oil everywhere, all under the hood, all over everything. I'm pissed. I'm like, really? So I call the dealership or whatever and tell them, and they're like, okay, bring it in the morning or whatever. Put the cap on and bring it in the morning. So I take it in. They steam clean the engine. Well, first of all, before I even pulled in, I call corporate, just make my paper trail, get my case number, because they really do play with you over here at this dealership. So I called corporate first before I walked in the door, and then corporate called in the manager or whatever. So by this time, the manager, of course, is kissing my butt. Oh, we're going to give you a letter saying that we're going to pay for your next service for free, and we're going to steam clean your engine. We'll get you an Uber so you don't have to wait. Go home, whatever, come back, get my car. Everything's supposed to be fine. Okay. Fast forward about, I want to say like a month and a half later, my dad passes away and my mom is like, kind of doing everything on her own. My mom's like 89, right? So I'm like, let me go help my mom. So I told my mom I'm going to come down. I get on the freeway. I'm in the fast lane, got my cruise control, got my music bumping. I'm just like, okay, go have lunch with her, help her. All of a sudden, my car's slowing down. I'm like, why is my car slowing down? So I said, let me get out the fast lane. So I get over into the next lane and I turn the cruise control off because I'm thinking maybe it's that. So I turn the cruise control off and I'm still coasting and my car's like still not accelerating even though my foot's on the gas. Now I'm like, what the hell? So I said, let me get over. So I put the blinker on, get over, get all the way off the freeway, call AAA, and I call my mom. I'm like, of course I'm not coming because I don't know what's going on. And so I call AAA. I try to start the car again. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, it's the starter or something because it sounded like it just wouldn't turn over. So I called AAA. And normally I don't let nobody touch my car but the dealership. But they said, what do you think it is? I said, either the battery, I'm thinking, or the alternator. Of course, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but whatever. So they listening to me and they're like, well, if that's the case, we could just tow you to the next nearest AAA approved shop and you can have them check the battery and we can replace the battery or check the alternator, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, it's nothing. So I wait, they take me over there, whatever. When I get there, they try to turn the car over. They're like, okay, definitely not the battery, definitely not the alternator. We gonna give you a ride home and we'll call you and let you know. I said, okay. So I go home, whatever. I lay down, take a nap. Next thing I know, I wake up and it's the mechanic. And they email me basically saying that my engine is out. And it's going to cost over $6,000 because my car didn't have any oil on the dipstick. Wait, say what? Like, what do you mean? Like, I just got an oil change a month and a half ago. So how the hell I don't have no oil in my car? Don't no car that's not pouring out oil. I don't have no oil in my garage, my driveway, none of that. So where the hell is this oil at, right? What I'm thinking is that when they went and steam cleaned my engine, they never did the oil change. They never put no more oil in my car. So of course I'm in shock, first of all. So after I get out of shock or whatever, I'm just like, damn, my dad's funeral is coming up. I had so many things I need to do. So I end up just going ahead and saying to myself, okay, I'm going to rent a car and I'm going to have to get me another car, which that's another story. I've been trying to get a new car, but I just wouldn't allow myself to do it because I was in some grieving situation where I was tripping. So long story short, I had been looking for a car for the last 3 months. I started really narrowing it down to 3 cars and I was like, I'm going to have to get a new car by the end of the month. Before my dad's funeral or whatever, because I don't want to end up having to keep renting cars or whatever. And they're not even trying to compensate me. They're basically trying to play stupid. So long story short, I called the Better Business Bureau, found out that they got a whole fail over there and don't be responding. So I called corporate, and let them know what's going on, why they're saying that I don't have any oil in my car. You see my previous case number about the oil changes and the fixed, I paid a couple, like almost $2,000 for that repair on that leak. So I'm like, okay, no. So corporate is basically, I'm telling them that I called the dealership. They're not calling me back. So corporate calls over there and sends an email saying to get in touch with me. I don't hear anything, crickets, right? So the following day, I waited that whole day. Manager never got in touch with me. The following day at noon, I still don't hear nothing. I'm like, really? I done bought like 6 Kias, not just from them, but from other dealerships. But I always took it to them to get it fixed because I bought Kias for my daughters. I've had, I want to say 3 SUVs and a van. So don't play with me. Like, I'm pissed at Kia right at that moment. And in their defense, I've never had to do anything but an oil change and brakes on one of my Kias. The other ones I kept and I never had to do nothing to them. So this is just a crazy experience. But this new dealership, the way they've been handling me the last couple of years is just a hot mess, okay? So long story short, I call back over to corporate again. They call over or whatever. And then they come back and say, he said if I can tow my car over to the dealership so that they can do a diagnosis of whatever's going on. I'm like, okay. So I called the other place. Now, of course, I got to pay $165 for a diagnostic test that I got done over there to find out what was wrong with my car. So I pay them, put it on my credit card, whatever. I pay them. I called AAA. I towed a car from there to the dealership. Days go by, and finally, they say, oh, yeah, it's the engine or whatever. So I told them, straight up, we both know y'all did this. They're like, we're going to submit to corporate to see if we can get it under some type of warranty or whatever. You guys didn't put no oil in my car, but whatever. I don't give a damn what you do. Just fix my car. So They end up saying that they're going to submit for approval. They're calling me talking about, can I get all my records and can I get my registration and all that to show that I'm the rightful owner, la, la, la. I said I could do that, but as far as like my service record, it's all the dealership. Even if it wasn't this Kia dealer, it was the one down in Valencia. I'm not doing none of that. My dad just passed away and I'm still trying to get people to come give me a ride. No. And I haven't been in a situation where I had one car since, I can't even remember. Like normally as an adult, I always had two cars. Even if I had a car with a car payment, I have my old car paid off. So this is the first time that I don't have an extra car. And before I wasn't really tripping the years that I didn't have another car because I've always bought a car for my kids. So my daughter I bought her a car. She never licensed. I could always use her car if something was going on with my car or whatever. With my son, he had just got a car and he was 16. He didn't barely even drive his car. I could use his car if something was going on with my car. Now, you know, all my kids are grown. It's just me. So, no. So, anyways, long story short, they decide they're going to go ahead and put this engine in my car. I'm like, okay, fine. So, they said they're ordering the engine and whatever. So, I don't hear nothing back from them. And all of a sudden, my daughter calls me and she's like, Mom, the dealership called. This is like, I want to say, they had the car for almost a month. But when they actually got the engine in, it took them about maybe 2-3 weeks or whatever to do whatever they need to do. They had some parts they need to order. So my daughter called me, like, your car's ready. I'm like, why did they call you? And she was like, they said that they called you, didn't answer, and their text system is down. I said, okay. I hadn't even talked to my daughter in a minute. We're going to talk about her later. But anyway, so I hadn't talked to her in a minute because she was mad at me, I guess, or whatever. So she calls me and says that or whatever. I'm like, okay. So I call over there. They say my car's ready or whatever. I was like, I didn't have no warning. And it was like Friday. I want to say it was Halloween or something. I'm like, y'all got me messed up. I'm not about to stop my plans for y'all when I know how much y'all play. Every time I pick my car up and something going on, I'm not about to stress myself out. I'll get that car when I get it, especially since I think at that time I only owed $230 because they was going to charge me to put the main belt on or whatever so that I wouldn't have to worry about that later on because they need to be changed anyway. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll pay for that. So long story short, I didn't pick the car up on Friday. So on Monday, I let them know. I was like, well, first of all, let me say this. I'm a mess because I ended up buying a car, and I'm going to do a whole video on the car I bought and where I picked the car and all that. But I ended up buying a car, but I didn't tell them that because I just wanted to see how they was going to treat me, right? So I rent a car, and I had already narrowed down 3 cars that I want. We'll go into that later. Narrowed down 3 cars I want. I said, when I go to LA or that area, I'm going to get a car this day. I don't care what. So I picked 3 cars, and I picked them in the order of the car I wanted the most so that if they did something crazy or it didn't work out, I could go to the next place, right? But I wasn't really getting the color that I wanted because of the time situation. So long story short, I ended up renting a car from the rent-a-car place. I picked 3 cars. I went down to get a car. The car wasn't the car I wanted, whatever. The car wasn't there. Got keyed on the lot, whatever. We'll get to that story later on. But anyways, I didn't tell them I had a car. So, of course, I got them getting me an Uber. So they give me an Uber or whatever. And I go down there because I had to get the registration and stuff out the car and all this. And so that they can fix the car. They fix the car. They call me. They say the car is ready or whatever. And I go down there and pick it up that Monday. When I get there, first of all, they about to piss me off again. When I get there, first of all, I'm calm. They didn't did all this, been messing up 3-4 times. I'm still being nice and calm, right? So I go in there and I'm like, okay, I'm here to my car. He's like, okay. So he takes me outside or whatever. We get to the car. The car's open, which is normally it only your car open. First of all, car's not even washed. I was like, I'll deal with that later because I just want my car. Which usually I'll be like, y'all couldn't wash my car. Like, really? You had my car that long? But my car's dusty on the inside and outside, which pissed me off because I got bad sinuses. So why did you have my windows open? Like, you tripping. So when I try to start the car won't start. So he goes and gets the thing to jump my car. He jumps the car and he's like, oh, just drive the car around, the car should start. Now he's telling me this like he don't know that my car been sitting with my windows and doors open for almost a month, okay? So I get in the car. I didn't go straight home or whatever. I drove around the city. I stopped and got some tacos. I didn't even turn the car off. Got my tacos, came home or whatever. And something said, do not pull it in the driveway. Pull it on the street so I don't block my car in because I bought me another car because I don't trust them. So, and I said, and I'm not going to stress myself out. The whole time I didn't want to be fighting with them about, giving me a rental car. And if they started tripping, because the way they was acting, I didn't know what was going to happen with them. And I just said, for my mental health, I'm going to go and give me a car and not stress myself out. And I'm going to deal with them however I got to deal with them in a time that's not going to stress me out. Because if I need a vehicle and they're playing with me, I'm going to fool around and snap. So let me just go on and give me a car. So I did. So I parked my car on the street. And I turned it off. I'm sitting there for a minute. I think I'm on the phone or something. And then I try to start the car up. Of course, nothing. The car does not start. Now, I'm noticing when I'm on my way home, like my radio was tripping a little bit, going on and off, it's pausing a little bit. But other than that, I'm like, okay. I drove the car around for I want to say 30 minutes or something like that. So, of course, it's Tuesday and the street cleaner coming and I'm going to get a ticket. So I'm pissed about that. I thought about that. I got out, I went in there, called the dealership again. Call corporate again, and the guy gonna tell me, oh, well, you could buy a battery. You got me messed up. I'm not buying no damn battery, because I just got my whole car inspected and you never said nothing about the fact that I need no damn battery. Now all of a sudden I need a battery after you guys have had my car a whole month? Absolutely not. So then the guy was like, okay, well, let me see if my manager, of course the manager do not call me back. So I call corporate calls over there. And she's like, okay, I emailed them and let them know that they need to try to help you get that car over there. She's like, do you want to tow the car over there? No, I'm not. Because I have a million tows, but you guys love to use them up. And I said, in the way they acting, I'm going to need mine. Like, no, I'm not doing that again. Because if it was money, I would be spending hundreds of dollars towing my car. And I'm not being compensated. No, they should have made sure my car was functioning in the right way when I picked my car up. So absolutely not, I'm not. I was like, no. So she was like, okay, I'll believe you, and I agree with you. So she went over there, she called over there, and she said she couldn't get in touch with the manager either or whatever, but she left a message and she emailed him. I'm gonna kick my boyfriend butt. But anyway, so I don't hear nothing from him the whole day, right? So the next morning, I get up, I go to the gym, work out, come home, I call corporate again. I said, I'm gonna call every day. I don't give a damn. I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm gonna call every single day and complain, right? So I'll call again and let her know, I didn't hear nothing from him yesterday. This is the situation. She's like, okay, well, hold on, I'm gonna call over there again. She called over there, of course, he's in a meeting, whatever. And of course, I'll call and leave a message too. So by this time, I didn't call Lemon Law people. I didn't call the Better Business Bureau, which I already know they get a fail, but I'm going to add to it. Since you want to play, let's play. Then I called Consumer Affairs. I put an online complaint in. I'm not about to play with y'all. If you're going to get on my nerves, I'm going to get on y'all nerves too. Because guess what? You guys got too many people letting y'all get away with this. The fact that you even had the audacity to give me my car back and you knew it wasn't even charged up. Because when you went to move my car, I know you had to charge it. You think when you called me on Friday, you would have just let my car run to see if it was going to actually charge up or not. So either you that incompetent that you didn't even try to make sure my car stayed running or charge my car up and let it run so it can catch a charge when you had to move it. You gonna let me pick it up? And I was like, yeah, they playing with me. But I was like, that's okay. They want me to be mad. So guess what? I prayed about it. I said, I'm not about to let this upset me. Not to mention I was having a whole problem with my plumbing that I was dealing with. And we're going to talk about that business next, about how they was playing with me after I had been paying this warranty forever. That's my next one. But anyway, back to this dealership. So they go ahead and the manager finally calls me back. And he's like, after corporate then called him, of course, he calls me. He's like, oh, I'm going to come personally and pick the keys up from you and get the car. And I'm going to ride with the mechanic. And then when we get to your house, I'll get in my car and he'll drive your car back. I said, okay. I'm just being nice because at this point, what is getting mad gonna do? Absolutely nothing. And I'm 50-some years old and I don't got a time to be doing all that. So I'm like, okay. So I'll wait. I said, what time are you gonna come? He said, I'm coming at 3:30. I said, okay. So I wait or whatever. He called me at 3 o'clock and said he's outside. I'll take the car keys out there to him. And I said, can you please make sure my car is running and everything is working properly on my car when you return it to me? He was like, oh, definitely. Well, I will personally make sure. Okay. So anyway, he took the car, whatever. He kept it. The next day or whatever, I don't hear nothing from him about my car. And I just said, okay, whatever. I'm not about to worry about it. I don't care. So I waited or whatever, and the following day, he calls me. I think he called me on Friday, because I picked it up on Monday, and then that wasn't Monday, on Tuesday, because because it was the day the street cleaner came or whatever. And by the way, I had to beg the street cleaner. So I was in the garage waiting because I looked at the time and I know the cutoff is like 3 o'clock for the street cleaner. So I went out in the garage because I didn't see him out there, and I kept looking out the window like, please don't let this man give me a ticket. So I waited, and God is so good because I got tired of waiting because it's kind of warm. I live in the desert. It's kind of warm. So I went in the garage because I got some little patio furniture in there. So I'm sitting on the furniture talking on the phone to one of my kids or something, like complaining about them. And I hear somebody saying, hey, I look up, it's the street cleaner, the city guy. And he was like, I never see this car sitting here, what's going on with the car. He could have just gave me a ticket. That's the part right there. And so I explained to him what was going on. He was like, okay, I'm going to give you one, and don't worry about it. I'm not going to give you a ticket. I was like, thank God. So I didn't get a ticket because that would have pissed me off even more. But they finally called me on Friday talking about my car's ready or whatever. I said, how about this? How about you make sure my battery is working right and that everything is functioning in my car before you give me my car back. Don't rush to give me my car back because they really getting on my nerves at this point. So he was like, oh, I will. My manager did or whatever, and he did. We gave you a new battery at no cost, and we saw that your boot, like the axle boot, was torn, so we replaced that in. Are they playing with me right now? Now you replace the shit that I ain't even mentioned. Okay, whatever. How about start like that? But whatever. I was like, okay, thank you. I appreciate it or whatever. So I thought about it on Friday, and I was going to have my boyfriend come with me over to pick my car. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to be bothered. And I haven't been without this car for this long. I'm not about to rush. Because if I rush and something else is going on with this car, I'm going to be pissed that I just even put myself in a position to rush. So I was like, how about I'll pick that car up on Monday? Like, no. Because I want to say, was it Halloween? No, that was last weekend. But this weekend, that's what happened the weekend before. But anyway, yeah, I waited. So I went and picked my car up today. I said all that to say that today I went to go pick my car up or whatever. So I texted him this morning and I was like, can you send the car about 10 o'clock? Because I said, I'm going to make sure I get dressed and make me something to eat and all that. I'm not about to go hungry. None of that. So I made me some coffee, and I had tacos for dinner, so I had tacos or whatever. So I had tacos or whatever, and I was just relaxing, and then he said that he would send the lift. So he did. He sent the lift or whatever. I went and picked my car up, and let me tell you, baby, my little old car is riding like a whole Porsche, baby. That bad boy riding. I had just put some new tires on it. I always take my car to the dealership. So the car is old, but it's clean in it inside out. I'm gonna show y'all a picture of my car, but it's old and everything, but it's clean. Like it looks like it's got the beige interior, not a stain in there because I don't play about my stuff like that, but it's an old car, but it's clean. It's been serviced by the dealership, but them new tires and all that, man. That bad boy was rolling home. I said, let me get on the freeway. I got on the freeway. I was like, okay. It was feeling all good. Everything was, I said, okay, And my, one of my friends, it was my husband's, one of my husband's best friends that passed away or whatever. He always checked on me. So I had called him because he was like, I'll buy the car from you. I already know what I'm getting in. He want an extra car to have in California when he come out here. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to sell it to you. And then my daughter, my youngest daughter, she just had another baby, and so her fiance, she been driving his car because the car that I bought her, she's saying it ain't starting, which why y'all don't take it to the dealer or something. But anyway, they want me to get involved because that's what I usually do, get in people's business too much. But guess what? I'm learning to mind my damn business and worry about myself. Y'all grown, you gonna figure it out just like I did. So I didn't even ask no questions, but he was like, oh, maybe you can give the car to KK. I'm like, I don't even know if I want to keep the car or what. I'm really just trying to decide if I want to keep it because I got to pay insurance on a car that I'm barely going to use. And then, so I bought me a car. I bought a Porsche Macan. And it's nice. It's cute. It's growing on me. I really have been struggling with getting a new car. So I'm going to do a whole little video on that. I've been having a car almost a month or about a month. I don't know nothing about the car. I just learned how to open the trunk the other day. My boyfriend did. And that's so funny. So I'm going to kind of go through the fact that I don't know what none of the buttons are, none of that stuff. And I'm going to go through the whole story about how God just blessed me with a better car than what I actually went there for. And I feel like all this ended up being a blessing to me. and everything that I've been going through, I said I was gonna make me some more coffee, has been a blessing to me. So I'm gonna kind of go through and kind of talk about some things that's been going on in my life that ended up looking very bad, but ended up being a blessing. And to be 100% honest with you, sorry you guys, I'm in the pantry. Everything that's been looking like something bad. I love the fact that my kitchen's a whole mess in the background, but guess what, baby? I don't care. Everything that I've been going through really has been turning out to be a blessing. So I'm gonna talk about all that. I just been so blessed. And so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about like me and my, some of my things that I'm going through in my life, and just to bless other people, and just grief and the grieving process and all that, kind of how it's been kind of playing out in my life, and how I would like to not have it just hinder other women, because it's been sometimes where that grief, baby, whew, it will rock your whole world, baby. It will have you stuck around this bad way. And the sad part about me is, like, I got a poker face. I always look like, oh, I got it together, or I'm going to work it out, or whatever. And I think that's from being a social worker for years, too. Like, I just know how to control my emotions when I need to. But it's not necessarily a good thing, because that's probably why I'm still struggling a little bit, even though I'm blessed. And I'm in a good situation, and I have, I was going to say a new man in my life, but actually it's the man I dated before my husband, so whatever. Not necessarily new, but new, whatever. But yeah, so